Hi folks, I'm Craig Taylor, and as always a huge thank you for joining me here on my YouTube channel, the Bushcraft Padawan. For those of you who've been watching some of my recent videos, in particular one where I talk about how bloody awful my tree and plant identification is and what I'm planning to do about it, if you haven't seen it, I'll link to it up here somewhere. You'll know that my tree and plant identification is bloody awful, and what I've done is I've enrolled on a 12-month tree and plant identification masterclass with Paul Kirtley from Frontier Bushcraft. The vast majority of it is delivered online. It's delivered through a portal. There's also an accompanying Facebook group, Instagram, hashtag, Twitter, and also some webinars pretty much every month or every other month. So what I thought I would do, given that this is staged over a 12-month period, with almost every module being released on a monthly period, I thought it would be a good idea as I reach the end of each module just to record a video to share what it is that I've learned, what I've taken away, what I'm going to start doing differently. So let's have a look at what those learning points are that I've taken away. Just got them written down here. It's good enough at my level of tree and plant identification to be able to put trees into a specific family. So rather than worry about exactly what that tree is or exactly what subspecies it is, it's good enough at this stage for me to just be able to put it into a family. Because the way that tree is likely to be used for bushcraft purposes is probably going to be the same across that family, regardless of what specific tree is. So that's made me feel a little bit better about having to identify all these multiple varieties. Important to go beyond the obvious identification features. I guess, I don't know yet, but I guess it's really easy to identify a tree in the summer when it's got all of its leaves and when it's got all of its blossom. I guess that's easier to do than at this time of the year, as you can see behind me, early March, when everything is still quite bare. Buds are maybe only just starting to show. So one of the learning points from this is don't just focus your identification on the easy stuff. Don't just focus it on the stuff that you can only see for a very small portion of the year. You need to be able to identify trees and plants throughout the year. So whilst it's, in an ideal world, you'll always need to use that tree or plant when it's the height of summer or the height of its identification season, in reality that's not always going to be the case. Another key point I took away was that there's no need to worry about all the hundreds or thousands or even hundreds of thousands of different trees and species out there, because not all of them are going to have bushcraft uses that I'm interested in. Not all of them are going to be of any use to me when I'm out in the woods, when I'm outside. So worry about those that have a bushcraft purpose and that are widespread and that are common. And one of the selling points of this course for me was that Paul's got that experience. Paul is able to filter all of the multiple of species and options that there could be out there and be able to come up with a relatively refined itinerary and agenda for us to focus on so that we're going to get the maximum bang for our bucks. So some of the things that have sort of come up during the course is I've read the Walker's Guide to Outdoor Navigation, to Outdoor Sign, and I've noticed that Paul references the presence of nettles is usually relative to where people have lived or are living due to what humans put into the soil. That's the sort of ecosystem and nutrients and requirements that nettles require. So it was good to be able to see something that I read over there in a completely unrelated book, or a seemingly unrelated book, cropping up in this course that I'm in at the moment. I found that quite useful. I found that quite confirming and affirming that all of these little jigsaw puzzle pieces were all starting to come together. That was really useful. At the end of each module, Paul sets us a bit of homework, and this month's homework was quite low level but important at this stage. I needed to get some kit together. I need to get together a notebook, a camera, ideally a hand lens, possibly a book to be able to press this information, to be able to press leaves into to help with identification. So I've spent the last few weeks getting those together, or getting most of those together. I already had a camera and a notebook. I'm looking at some hand lenses in on some local opticians. And the other thing was to find an area that you can get to quite regularly, or fairly regularly. I'm really lucky insofar that I'm sat in a park at the moment which is a stone's throw from where my children go to school. So when I take them to school in the morning, we set off a little earlier and I drop them off at school, and then I spend 25 minutes before I get back for work just wandering around this local park. And there's all sorts of different trees and shrubs and plants growing here, so it's really looked good that part of my normal daily routine I can fit visiting some woodland into that. So all in all, it's been an interesting first month/module. My brain is fried at the moment, if I'm being really honest. Paul said it would be, and I expected it would be as well. I feel a little bit like the startled rabbit in the headlights. I feel that it feels insurmountable at the moment. It feels too much at the moment, but I'm confident in Paul's ability to be able to guide me through this. I've got the resources to hand. I've got the internal intrinsic motivation to excuse me, to apply myself and do well at this. So hopefully, fingers crossed, as I record more of these reflective monthly videos, you'll see slightly less, I hope, of that startled rabbit in the headlights, and more of a keen, dedicated, professional botanist start to emerge. As always, if I'm happy if I'm able to tell the difference between a Christmas tree and a family tree. So anything beyond my current poor level of identification will be a bonus. I'm waffling on now. Thanks for joining me in this video. There's possibly not a great deal you're going to take away from this, to be perfectly honest. It's not a skills video, it's not a how-to, but if you are considering tree and plant identification, if you realise that that is a downfall in your own skill set, maybe take some of the advice that I've mentioned here. Don't worry about every tree that's out there. Find out which trees are useful for bushcraft purposes, concentrate on them. Concentrate on the family that they belong to rather than the specific individual species or subspecies. I'm not sure that the correct botanical term. Don't try and do everything, I guess is what I'm saying. Follow the 80-20 rule, look at what can give you the most bang for your bucks and concentrate on that. And why not enroll on the course as well? I'll link to it down in the description below. Thanks for watching. If I've mentioned something here that's made you think, that's made you pause and reflect on your own practice, if that's a good thing, then by all means give me a thumbs up and like this video. If you think that other people in your network might enjoy watching this or might enjoy watching what's on the channel, please do share it. And as always, if you want to keep up to date on my other ramblings around tree and plant ID, don't forget to press that subscribe button if you've not already done so. Thanks for watching, folks.